yeah, I will try not to keep I try to keep the mechanics and the sciencey stuff to a minimum because I don't have JD able to jump in and translate or just look at me and go, "Shut up, Matt." So what we're going to do is have a look at one of my instructors, dachi katas, stance katas as he calls them, and these are so you can train in a small space, and they're to work on your stances, hence dachi kata. But they do more than that. They don't just make you of this shape. They're the transitions are the important part. So we'll bow in and we'll start the actual karate. Okay. So in order to do that, we're going to work on to include fudochi. And the fudochi we're going to do is a very specific fudochi. There are multiple variations. The one we're going to do is if we just start from front stance, left leg forward, you're basically trying to keep your left leg in front stance position, and then you're going to pivot on the ball of the foot and pull your foot heel in so that you go into back stance feeling. Stays as front stance, goes into back stance, hips stay level, and that's it. So if we go right leg forward, front stance, try and keep the front stance, ball of the foot pivot so your heel can come up, so you pivot on the right part, pull your heel in. It shouldn't really go past 90 degrees. It's hard to tell on the camera. I'll have to change it so you don't over exaggerate. And then you keep your hips level. Okay. Just go to left front stance. I'm changing because it's awkward. So left front stance, ball of the foot actively pulling, and then of course your knee follows your toes. From here, see my heel. You don't have to lift your heel up. You just pull in, and your knee follows. The right leg forward, ball of the foot, pivot, stays the same, and comes across. It's about, don't go past 90, but get close to 90. If you've got really flexible ankles, it's easy to keep it in front stance and bend a lot. That's not it. It has to actively pull because you're turning actively from the hip. Okay? Just have a little go at that. If you have a partner or someone around, front leg must be like front stance, back leg must be close to keep it dachi. Okay, so if something has to give because of flexibility or ability, the back leg. You're just here and you're thinking, stays where it is, active turn at the hip, push back in, active turn, push, active turn, push. And I've got big fat legs, so if my gi's flopping, you'll see it looks like my leg's coming in. If I pull my gi tight, you see it's not anywhere near as bad. So if anything that looks wrong, it's because of my gi, not me, okay? So just do it a few more times. Checking that you are actively pulling. You are not in a front stance. Change it to gallery. So there has to be an active change. If you just stop and watch, just watch my back foot, you get the stance. There has to be an active change in my foot angle. I am not front stance. Okay, and it's pivoting back on the spot. We're not going to spend the whole session on this, but we could, because you're actively turning from the hip. So the other way, let's go into Kibadachi. So you get into Kibadachi. And now it's your left leg can start again. Again, you pivot on the ball of the foot and you hit front stance position with the left leg, and the right leg shouldn't move, and you get that feeling. So you just go to Kibadachi and pivot in. So this is shorter, it's slightly shorter. Do the same on the right leg, pull in from the ball of the foot, heel comes in. And so just that pivot, whichever way you do it, from front stance or kibidachi, you shorten your stance. So you can either come forward and watch the camera, or you can keep trying that. But either way, from front stance, it shortens. From kibidachi, it shortens. If you had stiff legs and you brought them closer together, you'd get higher. So what you do is you end up with more bend. So it actually, from the waist down, it drops. So when you do this, you should be keeping the tension so that you feel like you've got a bit of an arch, you've dropped a little. So not just the foot movement, there's a little drop feeling. Okay. And that's kind of important, because fudochi, the way we're doing it now, as I say, there's Sochin dachi, where you're more diagonal and stretched forward. They're starting from kibidachi and pivoting the foot out and dropping down. Those are variations. But this one, the fudo means immovable, or rooted stance. But it's a little bit more in depth than that. So from Tako and Soho's work, the fudochi shinmyoku, can't pronounce Japanese, sorry. Anyway, there's this fudochi, immovable wisdom, fudochi, immovable mind. And it doesn't mean that you're just grip steady and unmovable. That aspect is your mind doesn't get grasped. It doesn't hold on to things. It moves in a natural form. So it's got to have the ability for movement. It's not got to get caught on something. So funnily enough, rooted stance is actually probably the most mobile of the deep stances. So if we just go back to front stance, left leg forward, and we go into hand may and load that back leg, each. We're not doing food, now front stance. Load the back leg, it'll pop forward. Load the back leg, it will pop forward. Load the back leg, pop forward. Front stance with the pit back wants to naturally drive in. This stays locked, everything's tight, back in. And you get a nice weight, and you can drive the side forward. Okay, just change legs. However you do that load, you can load it with a hip lift, you can load it with a knee bend, you can load it with a combination. But when you go back, you've loaded the back leg, then you release it. Load, release, load, release, load, release. Okay. Your weight is pretty much committed forward. Go back, left leg forward. So this time, go into the fudochi, actively pull your heel in, shorten the stance, feel the slight drop, and then feel that you now have a push out in both directions. Your legs are loaded, but they're not wound up. And to push forward, you've got to actively rotate and push. And you go back, and you actively rotate and push. Just change legs. So you've got heel in, there's a little drop. If you feel a little spring, this really wants to bounce up a little bit. We'll see later. But then you've got to actively push in. One, actively pull back and in. So your weight goes nearly 50-50, maybe 55. More so than squeeze back and in. It's actively a tiny percent more, a little bit more than a handmade. Okay. So go left leg, Zenkuts, and thick. Block, gate and right, feel the load, punch back, Gyakuzuchi knee. Ich, knee, Sanchi, Gorok, Sichach, Goju. And just try on the other side and be aware that the technique loads that leg and it naturally wants to unwind back. So ich, knee, Sanchi. Anyone who did Judy's session yesterday will be perfect at this. Okay, left leg forward. So left leg now. Do exactly the same thing. Block on itch, punch on knee. Itch, knee. Some itch, knee. Itch, knee. If I say the number 10, totally different start to the soup sound. Doesn't sound like any of the Japanese. When I say 10, you're going to punch Gyakuzuki with your left arm off to the side. Okay? So it's just itch, knee, itch, knee, itch, 10. Back forward, itch, knee, itch, knee, itch, 10. And again, itch, knee, itch, knee, itch, knee, itch, 10. Okay. The 10 feels awkward, right? You've loaded your back leg, it wants to spring forward, and then you have to change direction. Just do the same thing in fudochi. Okay? Itch, knee, itch, knee, itch, knee, itch, 10. And back. Itch, knee, itch, knee, itch, 10. Okay. Also, don't just the punch, just go back, front stance, hand may, squeeze the leg, and then just think, push and step forward, itch. So load the leg, just feel forward. Doesn't have to be a full stance, but feel load, move. Load, move. On the other side, load, move. Low, push the leg, body in, itch. So forward is great. This time, load the leg, step off to your right. Load the leg, try to step to your left, to your right. So you go hame, step the left leg, itch, knee. It should be awkward. You've loaded that leg to go forward. If you want to have the option of changing direction, it's difficult. Okay, let's go back. Hit. Fudochi, itch. Step forward. So you give a push with the leg, itch. Back, hit fudochi. Left leg forward. Step forward. It doesn't have to be a technique, just think halfway and move. Itch. And back. One more. Fudochi knee. Okay, so that's still fine for stepping forward. It might have this sharp start, but you've still got a big drive, right? Back leg drives. Now, same thing. Fudochi. This time, go to your right again. Itch. So left leg's forward, right leg goes back into fudochi. You then step off to your right hand side. So your front leg just comes in and moves. Hit fudochi and then think step. You only have to step 90 degrees or 100 degrees. Don't try and do a 180. You're just trying to go. So you could either go, let me get my feet in line on the bottom of the screen. Okay. So you're either going to go 1, 2, or you're going to go 1, 2. Don't have to do a 180. But feel in your own time. From a fudochi, you have a greater range of direction. Okay, yame. So very quickly. Kibadachi heel comes in, it shortens. That means if you step the legs with the same bend, you would be higher. So there's a little extra bend, should give you a bit of a load that feels like you drop down and hit that stump. From front stance, heel comes in. Same thing, you've got a little bit of a drop down, you've shortened the distance, so you drop, you've got more bend. It also means in stance, I can go back, I can go forward, I can go up, and I can comfortably go down. So basically, your rooted stance, your immovable stance, has much more flexibility of movement than a front stance, or a back stance, or a kibadachi. And see you for discussion one time over a Pepsi Max. We can discuss the Zen philosophy of this sort of contradiction. It is rooted, it is solid and strong, but it is also more dynamic. Any questions on that part? We are not doing a session on this, so I need to move on. But because of its middle position, it's key to doing this short, sharp thing we're going to do in the dachi kata. Okay? No questions? Excellent. So, the hard part, the training and the thinking. We're going to go into kibadachi, and we're going to put our left hand out, and we're just going to, this is just so that there's some, if everything else is confusing and you have to think and go slow, there's at least some drilling it. So just jodan, chudan, chudan. Make sure you get, let's just feel again, get a bit of a hip push, hips, hips. Okay, one more. So left hand starts open, pate shuto, and then it's jodan, chudan, chudan. So that's just that way, 3 techniques. Look to your left, but look to your left with sort of intent and feel your right arm and your body feel. Like you think, what's that? You suddenly think, what's that? And you'll have more than just your head turn. Do not let your stance change. Itch. So everything has a little bit of movement. From there, you're going to agi-uki with your left arm. And as you're going up, classic agi-uki, you then just pull the back into fudochi. So left leg forward. Don't turn side, just pivot. This is the other thing. We're so used to going on forward 90 degrees. We just have natural angles. My feet are in line. Maybe my hips are 30 degrees. Maybe they're 27.9. Whether you do sine of 45 or 30 or tan does not very rarely gives you 45 degrees. But, you know, we're not doing that because apparently I'm boring. So from there, this is the hardest thing to get the hang of. Drop your elbow like you're coming back down and cover, because you're gonna tatezuki with your left arm. Just drop it and punch. Drop it and punch. Drop it and punch. Then you're going to think, drop it and squeeze it a bit and punch. Drop it. Do not pull into hikate. Squeeze to the middle. Okay, because while you're doing that, we've got 2 arms. So we squeeze our right arm over. So we're getting in fudochi squeeze. And we squeeze with our chest. And we actually let this pliable stance crease in at the hips. Don't let the legs come in, but just at the hips. So you've got squeeze. And then it's left, tatezuki, as the right hand prepares in a classic jodan, fudo mayo, who I'm the god of whatever it is in Japanese stuff. So there, let's go back, agi-uki. Squeeze it down as before, elbow pulls down, arm squeezes in each. Then as you punch out, your whole body expands forward and back. Just try that a few times so I can watch. But you need to be in a good fudochi. The agi-uki has to be in a fudochi. You have to have this slightly shorter, pliable position. So if you need to go a bit shorter because it's novel, do it. But you're trying to get from agi-uki squeezed in and out. And it might look like everything's coming back and up, but body-wise, you should still have. Where am I? See, I can just see me on the edge of the screen. Watch my shoulder. In, back, out. So even because of the body motion, has to have a little forward. Don't swing this back. Squeeze in and back. And from it being back, hips, elbow, fudochi to the front, into front stance. Now you get that stance transition. From middle, fudochi, and forward. Even a little bit Gyakuhan mei. Boom, Shudan punch, Jodan raise, Shuto. And remember, Shuto, neck height. You can turn the hand completely palm up. I would say 30 degrees, not past 45 degrees, because this one was up and down rather than coming in from the same height, which would stay up. So you can have a little bit of down angle rather than totally turned. You need that stretch to connect the shoulder, but it can be slightly angled. It's high grades, most people are black belts. This is a black belt style thing. You have to get away from it, must be exactly this 90 degree to this 45 for the flow. So we're going to do this elbow, left throw the ball. 1, 2. 1, 2. Feel your, the bottom of your elbow is level with the middle of your shoulder. Your arm is above that. So you can collapse this through the elbow and whip it. And let the weight of the arm fall down. The arm's gone up as a preparation. Let it fall down as it comes in. Feel it still to neck height, only has to fall a little bit. Don't try and come through the hip directly from where it is. The energy comes from the stance transition. You're stretched open at the chest, at the hips, at the arms. You can press them all. You drive the stance from the hips, you squeeze the body, and you whip the arm in, and then the hand out. We're doing more flowy, natural stuff than rigid. If you're rigid, you need big steps. We've only got small stance transitions. Realised there was another screen, haven't looked at. Yeah. Make sure you don't go into back stance at any point on this sequence. No back stance, fudochi instead. Let's go from the start. That's the first third. So left hand out, tate shuto. Sanmonzuki, ich, ni, sun. Actively look, let the body twitch, a little bit of preparation, and then agi-uki into fudochi. Using your whole body, squeeze your body in, not just your arms. If you can see me on the video, you should see my annoying gi pants do a little twitch as well. Twitch, and then out. And then everything compresses around the front hip, and it whips that out as a strike, not as a thrum. We're not making big arcs, we're curving angles. Okay, try that. Sanmonzuki, agi-uki stance Small stance change, sharp. No stance change, but tension. Big stance change. 3 times. It's Agiyuki. Make sure on the Tatezuki you don't overdo the punch, just let it go out. Focus on the body, not the arm. Don't have it coming up too high. And then, of course, it mustn't stop. The same thing, the preparation is into one thing for the Agiyuki. This squeeze in is one thing. Then you whip. So it's 3 counts. Agiyuki, punch with the preparation, whipping through with the shuto. We're doing lots of different hand techniques because we haven't got that big stepping movement or that single big motion. We've got much smaller body shifts. That means Zukis and big thrusting techniques are not always the best. Okay, we're going to sort of onion this. We're going to add different layers to this as we go through. You can keep trying to take some more on board, or we can stop where we are. But is everybody okay getting to the shuto? So we're in left leg forward, right hand shuto. If anyone cares about 3D moments of inertia and angular momentum vectors, we can discuss offline. But what you're going to do is you're just going to bend your arm very slightly, not lift your arm, just at the elbow along its natural line, and it means your hand will slightly come up. Not far, only a little bit. So you bend. Then from there, just pivot into back stance. So you pivot on your left leg, so you're in right leg forward, back stance, and you throw out a shutouchi. And your hand is up, and it comes down to just below shoulder height. So you've got a little dropping action of your hand and your arm, but not much. And you've got a very tight, go this way. Now, the bad news is you have to, Yame, everybody make sure you can see me clearly. I know I was going to have to do this bit. You're all going to want to go, prepare here, Yurakan, prepare here, Shuto, prepare here. So you get a big movement at your elbow. That's what training basic. That means you can't do anything more than you can get out your tiny little triceps. If you were to throw something, even if you throw it underhand, you don't rely on that elbow itself. We're trying to do the same here. Oh, has it come back?
No, you're out of focus, Matt Sensei.
That better? Okay. I shouldn't move that fast, the cameras can't keep up. So you'll want to take this in tight and whip it out with your arm. That's not that, that's training one joint. Whereas if you were to throw, you wouldn't stand here and go 1, 2, 3, and then go on its own. You would connect them. So what you've got to do from here is think that little bend, as you then whip your arm and your body, whips it down. There's a slight angle, carry angle in your most people's elbow joint. the joint moves, the inertia tensor changes, you can transfer momentum from your upper body to your lower body. It's more efficient. It won't work when the arm is straight. It works when it's at 90 degrees, but then you'll slap yourself in the face. So just think, a little turn, and it goes down and round. Try it a few times, play with it until you feel like you've got this throwing action. And then, of course, it happens in one go. If I'm here, I can bend my arm and turn, or I can bend it a bit and turn. So it's together. And then out. But the secret is just bend the arm so it comes up, then turn from front stance to back stance as you just let that throw for the elbow, and try and feel the whip. Try and feel it whip down into your arm rather than just your elbow doing it. And of course, in reality, there's no delay. Your arm bends quickly so your hips can start turning and moving. But it mustn't be just elbow. You'll know it feels like you'll feel like a little stretch, little bit off the fingertips at the end. Okay, that's what you're meant to feel. It's tricky. First of all, you might have to just practice the shape and get in the transition to a nice front stance to back stance the other direction. So from there, little wind out. Where's the camera? Little wind out, and then uchuki dropping into from back stance to fudochi. So your arm was swinging, let it keep swinging the direction it had momentum a little bit, drop it down, then uchuki. It stopped, but give it its sort of nascent momentum and wind it into the uchuki. As it hits, nothing moves out. Dropping there. Swing out, come back in, whip it. And then from back stance, nothing, uchuki. Nothing, uchi. Boom. So, from the shuto, feel the movement itch. Keep it going slightly in that direction, wind it in, uchuki. Now, you really need a partner. You're just going to have to trust me, because without a partner, it's very hard to tell. You're going to throw your arm back and you're going to kasami. You're not going to swing it round, that'll pull you away. You need to think open hand, kasami with the right, open hand with the left. And if you can see, watch, have to get closer. Ooh, and have to stand up more. You've got this stance has some expansion. If you watch my head against the background, by thinking I'm pushing my hips out a bit more, because of the stance, I will actually go a tiny bit forward. Without trying to, it's tiny. All you need to do is not be going backwards. If you're punching someone in the head and they step in, even slowly, it's normally a KO. If they hold still, it's a really good one. If they pull their head back a little bit, it's massively weakened. Not because your hand's not hitting fast, but because the body move speed is much lower. Your body mass speed is lower. So by the time that weight gets into the hit and they pull their head back, they've neutralized it. So as long as you're not going back on this, or as long as you've just got a little, that's all you need. That's all you need to not subtract from the technique. And this is about sharp, short, sharp movements. Again, from this, and you push like need your shiho. And then from there, big kaito into front stance. Okay, so shuto, back stance, arm out, drop into fudochi as you block. Expand that feeling, hitch. Now close again around the front hip with a big kaito. So you've open, closed. Try that sequence of 3. From back stance, 1, 2, 3. Shuto back stance. Uchuki Kazamazuki with backhand open and then Haito. Let's go through it a few times. I would say it's all about the stance and the body movement, but these hand techniques are fitted to the body movement. So you need to get those right to make most use of this. We'll do the next bit. As all of you have been in stance for a little while, actually we'll finish off the sequence. So which way round are we? We did that. We're in right leg forward, left high toe. Okay. This helped, you know, lots of people have really sticky out shutorukis. Notice we've gone all the way forward. We were all the way back. We came to the middle. We came a bit forward. Now we squeeze. We can't go any further on the right leg, not without movement of the feet. And we're only pivoting, keeping within a stance. So we've got to turn again. We'll turn into back stance. But lots of people have a really sticky out shuto. If you do this right, it's going to stop that. From that high toe, pull your arm straight back. As Julie Sensei had us do, don't pull your elbow out. Just, okay. From that position, pivot. Don't prepare with the other arm. Just pivot 180, shuto. Okay, let's go back. Think pull in, pivot. Pull in, pivot. Now do that together. Your high toe is high again. Your shuto is sure we go from jodan to chudan. So you've got a natural drop of the weight. Your stance is pivoting. This turn, even though the arm comes straight back as I pivot, you'll get a rotation. Here, right shoulder is here, now it's over here. So as you pull that back, as you rotate, you should get a nice, solid turn without overextending. And this is different from the other turn. The other turn had a whip at the end. You turn the hand up and you felt it whip out. This isn't. This is, if I was this side, would be kaito. It's not a whip with the arm, it's a whip. So we've got a whip, and you think, see, 1, 2, 3. And here we've got rock solid. Much more solid. Your elbows closer, you're connected. It's a more of a solid technique. But then try and move the arm fast and make the body catch up. So we're in shuto, right side. So just like in Heian Nidan, drop the arm and but hit fudochi. Itch. Then circle it and punch as you block Jodan. So your hips gone. And again, we've gone from hips all the way back, hit the middle and forward. This is the easy one. Middle, forward. And if you get the fudochi right, you should feel hopefully a little bounce. The last one is fudochi, front stance. You must hit for now the fudochi. Just the arm comes down as your stance changes. Weight on, swing it round, punch, and end up pate, pate shuto, left hand punch. Okay. And from there, left hand, let's squeeze back into kibidachi, and that's the end of it. Believe it or not, there's 3 punches, 3 moves. Just watch. It's a lot simpler when you can do it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The block into that flows. 1, 2, 3. So there's a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, a big 2. 3. A 1, a small 2. But it's 1, 2, 3. Because it's the stance transitions, not just, but within it you've got these body movements. Okay, Yame, have a rest. I'm going to get a drink so I can talk for a second. Now, so one of the things we're told about Shotokan and what we aim for is having a strong stance. And so you got big strong stance, big. And yes, you have to build up strength. And I'm certainly not one to go negative on that. As I've spent a lot of my life moaning about other puny humans being too weak and pathetic. As I'm fatter than average. So, but what you're potentially looking for in a strong stance, I think, is often misinterpreted and poorly misinterpreted. You don't want strength like a steel pillar holding something up, like a foundation. You want something that's strong in terms of resisting stresses and loads on it. So like a piston in an engine. Being British, Formula One car, and maybe a NASCAR, but not as good, obviously. But you have to have, sorry, Vince, and obviously those motorbike things even more so. You don't need a big, heavy, strong cylinder and piston and engine because it's having a lot of weight put on it or a lot of, but the accelerations and the stress from it moving quickly, that's why it has to be strong. So your stances have to be strong. but not because you've got to be able to go, oh, look at me, I can have someone stood on my shoulders while I'm doing this. It's because they've got to be strong so they don't get injured when you're able to potentially go bang, bang. And there's a huge amount of load and stress from the dynamics of the movement of what's happening when you suddenly start moving quickly and over big distances. That's what you need to be strong at. These dachi katas are meant to be doing the micromanagement of that. You stay in these for a long time and you make short, sharp, fast movements. So I've said this before, you should be stancing. You should be on a stance, you should be in your stance, but you should be stancing. Kicking, punching, throwing, locking, striking, do a stance, be in a stance. No, stancing. I like to stancing rather than being in stance. So it's the dynamics of the movement. So this dachi kata, we'll just go through, follow me. Just the shapes. Get the shape of the stance, get the positions, hold it until you're stressed, till your joints are not sore, but are feeling loosened. So your muscles are burning, so they're getting stronger. So it's ich, ni, san. But it's these small, sharp movements, the agu, the ich. Then it's the compress and strike and prepare at the same time. And there was a movement in that. My stance has movement in that. The same. Now it's obvious, very big stance movement and with the hand, knee. Now this bend and then striking, sun. And that's a sharp twist. Ich. Then it's wind up and it's very sharp. Block, then punch, strike. So from the block. Oh, I knew this was going to happen. PC is about to run out of battery. And I have no idea which is which. Can you still see me and hear me? All right, should be back. So, from here, blocking and sharp. But you've got to feel that has a little bit of, you said you got that arch as you drop down. 1, 2, 3. Then it comes up a little bit. Then you've got to squeeze in and turn. Then you drop and then you punch. Then you move. So it's these short, fast movements as you transition. So first layer of the onion is to get good shapes. Good shapes that are strong, and then you can move within them. The next is transitioning and moving short, sharp pulses. Not always, I've got a massive distance, loads of time, full expansion in, but back starts in. I might have to go halfway in, might have to go back down in, half back. And it should not be small and awful. Then you can look at this from a, how do I make this better? So I'm not expecting people to do this, but let's go back. We're only doing one side because you're learning. Sambon, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you look at Yuki. Your left arm has gone up. To use it, it has to come back down. So it drops down. It doesn't have to drop all the way down. Then we can make the other hand join. and it goes out. So it goes down and out. As it was happening this point, where can this one go? It can only do anything useful forward. It's gone forward. My stance is now forward at its limit. So what I'm going to do is make it work. I've got the other direction, and I change my stance, so I'm now in a back stance. It was going that way. Let its momentum take it and whip it into the next technique. And as you drop, there should be a little bounce. You drop, the weight will go up on the floor. As that happens, and again, your arms are going in the following where they can go. Because this is out, it's very hard to whip your shoulder. It hurts. It's easy to whip at the elbow, so that's why it flows. This, again, you're fully one direction, you've got to go the other. If you think I want a bit of snap on the technique, its momentum would be that way. So instead of putting it straight back, just have it have a little circle as it does its movement. And then you can get that snap feeling, but without extending out. And the same thing, you've dropped down. Well, boom. Going that way is massively open. Stop with the shoe toe, bounce it back. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Goes down and comes straight across. So when you're thinking what's next in the sequence, if I'm at one extreme of position, I have to go the opposite direction. Now I start off back, middle, goes down, up, all the way up and this way, this direction, this direction. You can also think, what would my limb naturally want to do? How do I make use of that with the body shift? And how do I make this a flowing sequence? So, you are, let's see here, you can watch, or you can go in. Dead, simple, itch, knee, sun. Now you're in trouble, because now it's one thing. Because it just flows. Dead easy. From here, put some pauses in, but you should just have it. Boom, 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 boom. But you don't skimp anything, because the sequence is designed to move naturally. Like your mind is in fudochi, fudochi. Doesn't grab onto anything, doesn't stay on this one. It does what's natural next. What looks best, who cares? What's naturally next? Now that's natural within your confines and abilities, but you've got to feel, say, that will bounce, which means it can whip. And that wants to go. And this wants to circle in, so it gives you the whip. So there's a natural movement, but you have to time it with your stance. Now, I was going to add in the extra bit of the onion, which is the ego. And then, of course, you've got to, this is hard work to get there. Because there's no reason you can't go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Add some kicks in without losing the, no more washigiri, without losing the feeling of what you were doing. But you can't do the kicks and lose the feeling. So, comes to this. Oh, I can do the sequence really well and fast. Well, that's nice, Matt. Now do it with some kicks in there. Oh, why? Well, because it'll make you work harder. Oh, why do I have to work harder? Yeah. Otherwise, it just becomes lax. I just wander through it. Don't ever want to wander through it. I want to improve. And that means getting physically better. I think I said a few times, I see karate like juggling, but juggling bowling balls. You are looking for a physical skill of doing lots of complicated things, but they're with heavy objects that need a lot of effort. And you need to adapt your body to do it. And then someone throws in some jelly, so you can't do everything with the same effort. And then someone throws in a chainsaw, and you've got to be careful about which end. And then worse still, people start trying to take them off you and kick you and hit you and steal your activities. So, skill. So just to finish slowly, follow me and go through this, like you're trying to get some flow in it. Jodan, Chudan, Chudan. Hips, body, arms, then Agiyuki into the middle, push, and then you strike. Feel the bounce of the strike. Feel the shooter. Feel it wind. Feel it hit. Feel it circle and strike. 1, 2. Back out. And yame. So, if you want to remember anything from today's session, remember what I said about the fudochi. Because giving you that, it's rooted, but it's rooted with freedom of movement. And that's what this complicated thing is. If you stay solid in your hip shifts and stance movements, you can feel the flow of the arms that go with it until it does flow. This comes down, your arm bounces up. That sets it up to turn. That lets it loop round. You drop on the block. You feel the bounce, so you come up. You don't have to come up a lot. It's just boom. Then you drive in. Then that swings. Then you just finding everything moving. You have to take the big muscle energy, big muscle forces, thigh to here, and translate them into the floppy bits. Okay. Feet together. Okay. And then any questions